Now at 5, Fort Scott, Kansas, residents are cleaning up after receiving more than a foot of rain over the weekend. Plus, a Joplin father speaks out after the school district notified him their bus routes have changed for the last month of the school year. And
President Biden has dispatched Secretary of State Antony Blinken to the Middle East. I'm Nicole Skanga at the White House as the U.S. continues to push for an Israeli ceasefire and for Hamas to release its hostages.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
People in communities across the 4 states are cleaning up from weekend flooding. Among the worst hit areas around Fort Scott, Kansas. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. According to city officials, most of the flooding is north of town and along Highway 54 east toward Uniontown. City and county emergency services and public works are overseeing the cleanup process. According to the city manager, the cleanup should take less than a week and all damaged roads will be repaired.
Basically over a creek or two, and which damaged them completely. We'll have to redo those. So those will take a couple days to a week to repair those once we get started on them, but we have to get to that point. But the overall cleanup won't take more than a week and we'll be back to normal business.
We're going to hear from residents cleaning up tonight at 6. Heavy rains are also causing issues in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. This is video of the Neosho River at Twin Bridges State Park. As you can see, debris and logs have accumulated in the river for about the length of 2 football fields, causing this massive jam. The city of Miami says it's not aware of any plans by ODOT or GRDA to remove the debris or close the bridge at this time. For more information about area river levels, you can go to our weather page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Kansas Department of Health and Environment has issued a stream advisory for part of the Verdigris River because of an oil well spill. The advisory is from 75 Highway east of Neodesha, Kansas in Wilson County to the Oklahoma state line. The KDHE says people should not allow children, livestock, or pets to enter the stream. City of Fredonia, Kansas has some tips for property owners recovering from this weekend storms. One is to clear gutters and drains so water can flow more freely away from your home. Also, seal your windows and doors to prevent water infiltration and inspect your sump pump to make sure it can handle excess water if needed. Saturday's storms dropped tornadoes throughout Oklahoma, including what forecasters say was at least an EF3 in the town of Sulphur. Downtown Sulphur, Oklahoma was torn apart with winds reaching at least 140 miles an hour. 1 person there was killed. 2 more were killed in Holdenville, Oklahoma. 12 counties in Oklahoma are currently under a state of emergency. Let's check in now with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
After the weekend storms, we do have a break today. Clear skies all day long, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, but we do also still have a few flood warnings in the area until Wednesday morning and Wednesday evening, especially for some of our counties out there, Woodson, Wilson County, Allen County as well. So we'll keep an eye on those flood warnings, but with all the rain that we got the last weekend, we also have some more rain coming in later on this week. They got nearly up in the Fort Scott and Nevada area, about 15 inches or more of rain. Now the rest of us up in the northern counties got about 7 to 9 inches. As you get a little bit further south, it starts to taper off closer to 3 to 6 inches of rain. Still a lot of rain for the 4 states area. We also had a few tornadoes touch down. Now Wichita, dealing with all of the flooding, they have not finished surveying yet, the National Weather Service out in Wichita, so they have a few tornadoes we have confirmed on the ground, but haven't done any survey damage. Now Springfield did a couple of surveys already. Stotesbury had an EF1 pass through and Uniontown had an EF0, so limited damage with those, but we're going to wait and see what Wichita has to do about the surveys for the rest of those tornadoes.
See you soon. Parents and students in the Joplin School District are seeing some changes to their bus routes today. Some parents recently received a letter from the Joplin Schools Transportation Department. It informed them that while working to improve transportation efficiency, the district discovered their students' bus stop was in a no-bus zone. This means some parents have to find alternate transportation for the last month of the school year.
I'm just a single father. And I also work out of Neosho, so it makes it a little bit harder. We recently just moved up here 3 years ago. There's not a lot of family help around here for myself, and I'm sure it's the same thing for other parents around the community.
The Joplin Schools Transportation Department says throughout the year they go through their system and find students who should be walking rather than riding the bus. Say it just so happens this letter came out with only a month left of school. The U.S. is stepping up pressure on Hamas to agree to a new ceasefire deal from Israel. This comes as Hamas released 2 new videos over the weekend showing American hostages still in custody but supposedly still alive. Nicole Skenga has more details from the White House.
President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the weekend as the U.S. continues to push for an Israeli ceasefire and for Hamas to release its hostages.
It is a priority to get those hostages home. It is a priority to get to a ceasefire, and is obviously a priority to get that all-important humanitarian aid into Gaza.
The president dispatched Secretary of State Antony Blinken to the Middle East to work with partners on a potential ceasefire.
We're addressing it, working on it together with partners throughout the region.
Hamas leaders flew to Egypt to discuss the latest proposal from Israel, which includes the group releasing as many as 33 hostages in exchange for a pause in hostilities in Gaza.
Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous on the part of Israel.
Hamas released more propaganda videos over the weekend showing hostages still alive. It included at least 2 Americans, including 64-year-old Keith Siegel.
This is the first time that we're seeing him, that we're hearing him. It's surreal.
Hannah Siegel, Keith Siegel's niece, told Face the Nation that she believes Hamas is asking for U.S. help in cutting a deal.
These 2 videos are a signal from Hamas that they are ready to make a deal, and a reminder that there are American citizens being held, including Keith.
Siegel's daughter has called on Netanyahu to do more to strike a deal and get the hostages returned. Nicole Skenga, CBS News, the White House.
Blinken is scheduled to visit Israel this week as well as trying to seal that ceasefire deal. On Columbia University's campus, an ultimatum from university officials for student protesters: leave now or be suspended. An hour before the 2 p.m. deadline, police began lining up outside the campus and students began to march around the encampment, making no effort to clear out. Students are demanding the school divest from Israel due to the ongoing war in Gaza. Protests against the war have recently spread to campuses around the world, including in Paris. Still ahead, never too old to learn.
Tech classes for seniors. I'm Cristian Benavides with how the newest addition in this trendy Miami neighborhood is geared to its older residents.
And next in Health Watch, how drumming samba music could help ease the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Topping today's Health Watch, a study from Duke University finds blood tests pick up knee osteoarthritis at least 8 years before it appears on x-rays. The blood test identifies key biomarkers in the disease long before it causes structural damage to the joint. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis, affecting around 35 million Americans. British scientists believe samba music might ease the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and they're drumming up support for new research. Ian Lee has that story.
Keeping to the beat of life can be a struggle, especially with Parkinson's. But these patients are finding a new rhythm with samba.
When you hear a samba band in the street, you can't help but going to do,
Arwen Mallon founded the samba band Sparky in Wales to help herself and other Brits battle a disease with no cure.
You wait ages for somebody to come along and wave a magic wand, but if there's something you can do yourself, then that's really, to me, that's really important.
Parkinson's is a degenerative disease that affects the body's movement and can lead to dementia. In 2013, a doctor told Ken Howard he had just a few good years left.
I thought to myself, nobody tells me what to do like that. So that was about 11 years ago.
Scientists want to help more people live better. Over the past year, samba drummers reported improved mood and movement, but researchers want clinical evidence the music eases symptoms.
And that is one of the reasons that we're doing the trial, trying to tease out those complex mechanisms and understanding, is it actually the drumming itself?
Brian Dew says he doesn't need a scientist to tell him what he already knows.
But I think without samba, I think I would be struggling.
But researchers believe their year-long study could be instrumental in treating Parkinson's patients in the future. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Parkinson's usually occurs in older people, but younger people can also be affected. The Parkinson's Foundation says men are 1.5 times more likely to have that disease than women. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, where the USDA says it plans to test beef sold at grocery stores in some states.
And we finally got a break from the storms, but it doesn't last long. More details right after this. Well, it's been a long weekend, but finally we've got a break from all the storms. It doesn't last long, however, but taking a look outside at Indigo Sky Casino Resort, from this picture, it's, hard to tell we even had tornadoes come through the area, but unfortunately we did. We had confirmed 2 that were surveyed by the Springfield National Weather Service and a few more out in our northwestern counties. We also have had a lot of flooding. This flood warning is near Chanute in effect until 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And not to mention the Fort Scott flooding. I know they had a lot of roads closed and a lot of damage there as well. Let's take a look at the tornadoes that we've had touch down. So far, Springfield has surveyed 2 that were in Uniontown, so Bourbon County. It was an EF0, went about 3 miles, a little less or a little above 3 miles. And then another tornado touched down in Stotesbury, which is in Vernon County, went a little bit longer, about 3.5 miles, and it was an EF1. So winds were about 95 miles per hour with that one. So those were the 2 that have been surveyed. Now, out in Wichita, they're still dealing with a lot of floods. So they have yet to survey the tornadoes that touched down in Wilson County and near Independence as well. So in the next couple of days, we'll start to hear back from Wichita National Weather Service and see what they have surveyed. We're clear for the next 24 hours. We've got some more rain coming in tomorrow night. But tonight it's going to look pretty nice. Temperatures drop down to the upper 50s, few clouds here and there, but overall pretty nice. Now, unfortunately, we're not out of the clear yet. This is still storm season, so we've got low to elevated storms tomorrow night, mostly for those northwestern counties again, and the same thing for Wednesday night. Unfortunately, those northwestern counties, so southeast Kansas, they are getting hit pretty hard with all of these storms. But like I said, those don't start until tomorrow evening. So if you're starting your day tomorrow, it's going to be pretty nice. Start with the mid to lower 50s. We're going to warm up to nearly 70 by noon. So pretty nice morning tomorrow. Let's take a future look at the storms we've got coming in Tuesday night. So here they start to fire up just outside of our counties. This is about 6:30 p.m. They're going to continue to make their way in. So this is a front, but that front is going to retreat. So these storms aren't going to be super long-lived, and the rest of us in the southern counties won't see much for any of these storms either. So this is 10 p.m. starting to make their way into Yates Center, continuing to push in. They do start to fall apart right about now. So this is 2 a.m. on Wednesday. A few stronger storms are expected. Hail and fast or strong wind gusts are what we're going to mainly see with these storms. We will keep an eye on it, but as early Wednesday morning, still some rain, but it does start to taper off and will be clear for most of the day on Wednesday. But like I said, those storms return again Wednesday evening. So we're not out of the woods yet for this storm season. We do have quite a few more days of storms. Thursday is our main threat for those stronger thunderstorms, and that's going to be most of the day on Thursday. But you're planning your day Tuesday. Most of the day it's going to be pretty nice. Storms roll in later in the evening and then again on Wednesday evening. So a few more days ahead.
And barely time to dry out, really, and then boy, another soaking coming.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got the same thing next weekend. You know, Friday a nice day, but then after that, a few more days of storms. So.
Oh boy, we don't need it.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. Hey, don't forget you can be the first to know about today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get those severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. Just search for KOAM Skywatch weather app. Teaching an old dog new tricks. Coming up, we're going to learn about a program helping senior citizens learn to use technology. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the USDA has started testing beef, including ground beef, from grocery stores for the bird flu virus. The virus has been spreading in dairy cattle. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said it's doing 3 separate beef safety studies. They also say they're confident the meat supply is safe and there are multiple safeguards in place to protect consumers. The USDA is setting new limits for salmonella in poultry. When the regulation takes effect next year, salmonella will be considered an adulterant in products like frozen breaded chicken and stuffed raw chicken. If salmonella exceeds certain levels, the chicken products won't be allowed to be sold. Trade groups say it's going to have limited impact on public health and could cost jobs. Technology is constantly evolving and increasingly an integral part of our lives. While even the average person can have difficulty keeping up with all the changes, it can be especially hard for seniors. Now there's a new program to help older Americans learn new tech. Christian Benavides reports.
In Miami's trendy Wynwood neighborhood, a hub for art, culture, and nightlife, this graffiti building is home to the city's newest senior center.
Doing the username.
Amparo Sierra is a proud member.
I feel comfortable, like a second home.
Here, AARP runs Senior Planet, a tech-themed space for older adults. Sierra, who retired in 2016, can take a range of classes, and she signed up for nearly all of them.
So that was very interesting. I loved that one.
From computer basics to downloading smartphone apps to using social media and even hailing rideshare pickups.
They're teaching you new things like how to use Uber.
There is no AARP membership required. You just have to be 50 or older to participate.
Cesar Mendez is the center's manager.
Older adults didn't grow up having technology, so we have a lot of people interested in the basics of those classes.
AARP has Senior Planet locations in New York and Denver, with plans to expand across the country. Courses are also offered online and even over the phone.
The idea is every single person that comes through the door is willing to learn new things, challenge themselves.
Lessons helping older Americans thrive in the digital age. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Senior Planet has 4 locations nationwide. The classes are free, and in addition to technology, they also offer fitness and financial wellness classes. A final check of the forecast is coming up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, why so many child care centers are shutting down, leaving caretakers scrambling. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the damage and cleanup efforts from the multiple tornadoes that struck Oklahoma this weekend. Plus, we're going to hear more from the Oklahoma father dealing with the short notice of school bus route changes in the final month of school. And Riverton baseball looks to stay hot as the end of the season nears with a doubleheader against Columbus. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. China has signed an agreement to send 2 giant pandas to San Diego Zoo. The goal is to start a 10-year international giant panda conservation cooperation. The 2 pandas, a male and a female, will be sent to the U.S. accompanied by Chinese expert breeders and veterinarians. The Chinese organization says the zoo is renovating and upgrading the enclosures to create a larger living space for them. This is just the second time China has granted new panda loans in the U.S. in 2 decades. It's soggy out there, the rivers are still too high, and we're going to have a chance to dry out, but it's just too brief.
Yeah, it is very brief. We do have some more rain coming in Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, larger chance of thunderstorms on Thursday, another brief break before we get more rain next weekend and early the following week as well.
People need to be careful out there.
It's spring season and it is hitting us pretty hard.
That's for sure. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.